Hey guys, welcome back. The Melon Man here. I have been introduced by Lee Molson again from the page Disease to Ease. I'm glad Lee always sets me up with people that I really respect and people that I really enjoy speaking with. And I'm sure this is not going to be any disappointment today. I've got Fabian on the line with me. Fabian is 37 years old. He's got 3 children. He lives in a long-term serious relationship. And he's an interior designer. So, he helps people by trade. But beyond helping people by trade, he is passionate about helping people in general. His hobby seems to be about helping people. Now, this is the first time that I've actually got to sit and talk with him, and I've only had just 10 minutes to talk with him, and already I see he's very passionate about coaching, about his past coming from an experience of being a personal trainer. He's a people person. He's passionate about helping them. He loves to learn himself. He loves to educate himself. He loves to do research. He does research into spirituality, which I'm very passionate about and I have been for my lifetime. He's done research deeply into detoxification, which has been my deepest research the last couple of years. He's into self-mastery, and I think this is something that we all must understand. He's into enlightenment, a word from the Buddha, a word I heard him say. So I would like to explore his, connection with the Buddha a little bit today. Maybe he's connected. I'm not sure. This is going to be an exploratory call, and I'm excited to do it. Fabian, let's start right there with that enlightenment. You said enlightenment. Some people think we shouldn't use that word. Some people think it's a wonderful word. I don't mind any words. I don't mind God. I don't mind spirituality. I don't mind talking about Jesus. I don't mind talking about Allah. I don't mind talking about Buddha. To me, it doesn't make a difference. To me, the spirit and the power of the universe is love, and that spirit and power of the universe is within all of us, and all of us can access that power. And all of us can put that power out into our life and start on a path toward enlightenment or towards having a relationship with God or relationship with the energy within us. What does it mean for you, enlightenment, sir?
That's a good question. Enlightenment. So what we're looking to do is we're looking to shine the light, in dark areas. This is what we're doing, And the enlightenment itself is a constant path, which is like I was just saying, that's subconsciously, that is the goal of the human avatar, really, is to reach a state of enlightenment. There are things in the way of that. There are manipulations in place in order to stop that from happening, which is why people don't like to, like you were saying, certain words. People don't want to hear certain words. Because what enlightenment means, it means that we may have to give up something. We may have to abstain from something in order to reach the goal of enlightenment. So embedded within the subconscious is two ideologies, really. One is the subconscious is connected to your right brain, which is also the Holy Spirit, which wants to rise up, because that's the divine feminine, and that's what wants to rise up. Yeah. But then the other part of the sub is embedded in there is, I don't want to change this state that I'm in at the moment. So it all comes from the mind. The mind is the beginning of all things, really.
Okay, just let me freeze you right there, because they said something pretty interesting. I really liked it. The right brain is divine feminine.
Yeah, the right brain, the Holy Spirit is connected to the right brain. Yeah, which like I say is also a part of the divine feminine. The Holy Spirit is the divine feminine, which is connected to the right brain, which is also the subconscious. So if I was to pull up an image now of an iceberg, which is something I've been meaning to share this for a little while actually on Facebook. If you pull up an image of an iceberg, you can get it, and it will show you that the conscious mind is very, very small, but the subconscious mind is very, very deep. Yeah, it's massive. And the subconscious mind is where everything is embedded within. Yeah. So the subconscious mind is ancient, and it goes right the way back to the very beginning. And it's a part of who we are. So it's connected to that right brain, but the subconscious, because I'm more Gnostic than anything else, is connected to the divine mother. The divine mother is, I don't like to use the word concept, is the original truth before the patriarchal system that we're in now, which is started about 6,000 years ago. Before that, it was a matriarchal system, yeah, based on the earth, basically, based on the great mother goddess, which you could call Sophia. We were, by being connected to that, a lot of the rulers were higher priestesses, and what they would do is protect the earth. And then what the sacred masculine would do is protect the sacred feminine, who's protector of the earth. The earth and nature is the great mother itself. Because we're detached away from that, that is detaching us away from the main part of our subconscious, which is where all of the deep-rooted, where agape means love, and it's the highest form of love, and that is embedded within the subconscious as well. So what we have to do, to go back to what you were saying, is to align our right brain with our left brain in order to walk the middle narrow path. And the middle narrow path is the path of enlightenment. That's the path that leads towards enlightenment. Is when we combine the masculine and feminine together, and we merge them together to create an alchemical wedding. Yeah. And then that's what gives us clear focus. You can't have will without imagination. Will is masculine, which is left brain, which is a very masculine thing. And then obviously imagination is right brain, which is very feminine. So to combine them to both together is where you find the true enlightened human being, the true enlightened state.
I really like a lot of the things you're talking about there, because the Buddha said the middle way.
Yeah.
So you're very much in alignment there. Have you done some Buddhist studies?
It's funny you say that, because at the moment I've gone back into reading the Secret Doctrine of All Ages by Madame Blavatsky, and she's going off the terms of it's esoteric, at that point, esoteric Buddhism. Yeah, so it's funny you say that. I was only just looking at it this morning, and obviously in that she goes on about, she talks about it because it's the philosophical sort of background. Again, esoterics, but that's where we find the truth. And she's talking about Atlantis, she's talking about the root races. So she does come from that sort of the Buddhic type of background as well. So it's very good that you said that. We're in sync. Which is
yeah. I spent a couple of years on studying Buddha, so I'm seeing a lot of connection here to what you're saying. I really also like what you're talking about, the right brain being divine feminine, the left brain being divine masculine, and having to balance that, because I do like to talk about balancing the hemispheres, and I do that. I try to encourage people to work on single nostril breathing and allowing a lot of oxygen into that brain. And then once you've filled both sides of your brain with oxygen, allowing yourself to sit, and that's the best time to meditate, when you've brought oxygen to excite both sides of your brain. So now sitting with that, left and right, again, it's always duality in our universe. It's always positive and negative, and yin and yang. So there's always two sides, and when we can integrate the both sides, this is when we're coming towards that truth, that understanding, that enlightenment, that deeper understanding of self that I think we all need.
Yeah, very much so. So that then continues. Then what you just said there, you mentioned with the nostrils. So then the nostrils, in the adept sort of schools, initiate schools, we would say that the nostrils themselves, the nostrils are connected to the testicles or the ovaries. Yeah. And the left and right brain, and which is solar and lunar. Yeah. Sun and moon. Yeah. Everything is all interconnected as one. Yeah.
Okay. Now, is this Chinese medicine?
No. This is just the occult. What I'm telling you here now is Gnostic. Gnostic occult knowledge.
This is occult knowledge?
Yeah. This is real deal mystery school knowledge. This knowledge, some of what I'm speaking about, through the mystery schools, with a lot of Gnostic knowledge, was burnt away in the schools of Alexandria. They burnt
Yes.
it.
So like they're talking about the witches and the burning of
Yeah,
witchcraft,
they
or
weren't really witches, but they were not really witches. They say they were witches, but they weren't really witches.
they were
Yeah,
practicing real magical art, human magical art, his
yeah,
ancient
yeah,
mystical art.
yeah. They were practicing something called white magic, is what they were practicing, and what they were is Gnostics. Because, like I was saying at the beginning, Gnostic and the original pagan, pagan means to pay again. The original, these are people that are connected to the earth. So what they were told you was a witch isn't really a witch. It's somebody. It's a female. Where if you have an illness or you have cancer or something, she's going to be able to go into nature, yeah, and she's going to know exactly which herbs to bring back, yeah, to heal you, yeah, because they're connected to the earth. If you reconnect to the earth, you can pick up the frequency of the earth with the Schumann resonance, and you can rise in consciousness that way. In order to create this patriarchal system, people think the New World Order started the other day, or now, Agenda 21. It started 6,000 years ago with, I think, one of the first kings, Egyptian kings, called Nama, yeah, which is before the legacy of all the pharaohs. Nama was before that. You've got Nama, Menes, Atum, and there was another, Zeus Ammon as well. These were like kings, and they even actually played a part in writing the Bible. They write the Bible. So they're writing their own story, and that's where we get the slogan, this is his history. It's his story. So the Bible's got two testaments, which is your two testes, which is your testicles. So they're telling you that this is a phallic worship, phallic symbol, it's a phallic, it's phallic system that we're in. So they have to hide all of that knowledge in order to create this system by telling you that you haven't got the power. The power is in the hands of a few. But what I'm telling people is, no, we can undo that, and you can activate the power within you. The power lies dormant at the bottom of your coccyx, yeah? And you have to activate it, and to realize the God within you, the God within, yeah? And that's not Gnostic study and Gnostic practice, which is what I do. And the original Sophianic story is the original story of this earth. And it's one that's, so it's undeniable. So yeah, I was saying that the nostrils are connected because everything is sex. Yeah, this is six represents the physical, 6 carbon, 6 atom, 6 neutron, blah blah blah. So 6 represents the physical, yeah, and 6 is sex. If you take out the E and put the I there, you get 6, and sex is the same thing, yeah. So what happens is it's sexual magic. The main goal. I'm going to tie this all up together now. Madame Blavatsky, again, she did this before she died. She got married to somebody in an alchemical wedding in order to achieve what I'm going to say now. The highest form of spiritual union is the joining together of the masculine and feminine, yeah, during the practice of white tantra, in order to raise the chrism between them, yeah, and to have a spiritual orgasm. What happens is both masculine and feminine unite, and then they will leave the vehicle together, combined together, and that's what creates the union of divine masculine and divine feminine within the physical. And that is how you access. You can do this on your own too. This is how we raise a kundalini, and the height and goal is for that to have that crown burst. That happened to me in 2010 through an old lady who, she was like a spirit guide of mine in this realm. And she met me. I was doing work for people again, and she seen me and she said, there's something about it. She made me sit down, and she activated me, made my kundalini burst out at the top of my head. At that in 2010, and at that point there, that was where my massive spiritual awakenings came into play. And before that, it's a case of knowing truth and looking at it, but not really actually aligning it with the cause of life, action in it. And since 2010, I was then able to incorporate what I read and look at as a part of my actual life, because I had a massive spiritual awakening where for about 6 weeks, maybe longer than that, it was like somebody was pressing on my forehead here, and my forehead and the pineal gland, and I had some crazy experiences. I probably maybe won't go so deep into the astral work that I do, the metaphysical work that I do. So I know that, just skating on that, I know I was here in Samaria previously before. That was my last incarnation that I was here, was in Samaria, and I was connected to something called Gilgamesh, a demigod at that point called Gilgamesh. who I'm highly, highly connected with, which is a spirit guide of mine. So I get a lot of, between that and my higher self is where I get a lot of my guidance from. So yeah. So going back to what we were saying, so we're saying that 6 is sex. So we're saying that it's the sexual energy, that lustful sexual energy, that we have to transmute that energy and raise that energy upwards. This is how we activate the Kundalini. So you can actually achieve, what happens is, in the end, if you keep raising this life force energy, it will activate the dormant brain cells within your brain, and you will ignite, right? So then what happens is you will upgrade. Many people have done this. Tesla's was one that did this, and there are many others. Even some American presidents, etc. I could pull them up now if need be. There's many people. I think maybe Woodrow Wilson, that may be one that springs to mind. There's a few. Einstein, I think, was another one as well that practiced this. They practiced the sexual transmutation of sexual energy. Yeah.
Okay. A lot of things here. A lot of things here that we're going to have to go back and talk about.
Cool.
First of all, what you were just saying right there, raising sexual energy versus, Catholic priests and staying away from sexual energy.
Exactly. Good point. Great point.
Our celibacy. And I have, contact with, breatharians who live a celibate life. You're suggesting that raising the sexual energy is better than celibacy.
Yeah, I'm suggesting to you that it's harmful, and there's a lot of this going around as well. Where I actually shared it today into the Age Jurying group that we recently set up. That it's actually unhealthy. A lot of people are going around, etc., and they're thinking, abstinence, even fasting's great, but you got to get your body right first. But we'll keep to this. So the abstinence, right? People going, I'm celibate, or going abstinent as part of my spiritual practice. Yeah. What they fail, if you do not, it's toxic and unhealthy for you if you do not transmute that energy. If you do not know how to transmute that energy, then you shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be doing it, because what's happening is there's a buildup of energy there, and you're not transmuting it properly. Psychologically, it have a negative effect on you. And we see that the proof of that is with a lot of the priests and stuff in the Catholic churches, because they're told to do it, but they're not told to do it in the correct way. And the reason for that is because, like I was saying earlier, a lot of people that practice white tantra, and urine therapy is a part of white tantra as well, by the way. It's part of the right-hand path, actually, which is part of white tantra, which is white magic. Yeah. Black magic, the black magicians, the practice the black tantra, they are the people, these are the dark occultists that are in control of this realm. They know this knowledge and a lot more, probably. And what they do is they teach us to expel Christic vital life force energy. They teach us to do that through pornography, just through social engineering, etc. They teach us to waste that Christic life force energy. So by doing that, you're sticking your two fingers up at your own divinity. This is what you're doing. When in the mystery school, etc., when people used to practice this transmutation of sexual energy and white tantra, the practice of white tantra, which where male and female come together in a meditative state. That is how the breathing takes place. Where if you're looking at it as a sexual thing, there's the organs that are down below. You pull them up. This is a technique. There's a technique. It's right by your coccyx. That's where your root chakra is. Your sacred. You're pulling it up. So it might get a little bit touchy now. So when a male and female is having they're having sex, yeah, we're supposed to be doing it in this way that I'm speaking about now. You go back to the Great Arcanum, etc. This is the reason why we got expelled from the garden. One of the reasons why we get expelled from the center. This is another we could go to. But when you're doing that, the breathing takes it like this. Yeah. So we're doing it. What I'm telling you is we're doing it all wrong. If I show you the image now, it's a man and a woman sat in a lotus position. They're sat in a lotus position. They're having a kind of form of intercourse, but it's very, very tight knit. It's very, very sort of loving. It's not lustful in any sort of way. They are face to face. Their meridians are kind of almost touching each other. And their focus is to involve what we would call God, the Godhead. So they're involving the Divine Mother and the Christos, the masculine and feminine. They're involved in that, in this sexual union. Yeah. But they are both, even when we're supposed to, when you make a child, we're supposed to abstain for 9 months, raising this chrism, raising it up. Yeah. And then it's, what it's supposed to do is give us an enlightened child. And if you think about it, if you were storing up semen for 9 months, that would be some very powerful semen anyway.
Okay, so then, you know, going to the raise the sexual energy, you're suggesting that the men and women sit in a lotus facing each other, maybe bringing even their foreheads together, watching each other, breathing, and having sexual like contact.
Yeah, well, they're raising, what they're doing is, because they're both adepts at this, you see, you've got to get to the level where both of you are walking that middle narrow path. Both of you are activated. Both of you have got activated kundalinis. Both of you are on the divine path of following your soul purpose. You're both connected to God, the divine. So what's happening is the both of them are meditating pretty much, but they're doing it together. And they're both raising it up. This is the main one, probably one of the main goals of the human being, is for us to achieve this state. This is my message to people. This is not something that I've just made up in my mind. This white tantra is fact, and it's the height of all sort of spiritual practice, apart from activating kundalini. It's because what you're doing is you're going to create a spiritual orgasm. There is no ejaculation.
So you're talking about that kundalini coming up your spine and taking that energy up your spine, coming up, you said, from the coccyx, and you talked about raising that up. And so are you talking about like just consciously trying to lift that energy, psychologically trying to lift that energy, not forcefully with your musculature, but psychologically trying to lift your energy up?
Yeah, psychologically and physically. Once you activate your kundalini, your chi, in a life force, it's something that you can feel. It is feminine. It is the divine mother.
So are you suggesting then that there's even a muscular like pulling or squeezing, or just even muscularly bearing down and trying to pull your energy upwards?
Yeah. That is what you're doing. Yeah. Literally, I was just looking at something there, which you said, you saying here. That is what you're doing. You're literally pulling this energy. You have to learn how to cultivate this energy. First of all, you have to know that it's there. If you are not present in it, it will ignore you. If you ignore it, it will ignore you. It's something that before age during I was able to do anyway, through a lot of practice, because my kundalini was activated. And it's something that through deep breathing, a lot of the deep breathing exercises that people do now, that deep breathing exercise, it goes back, it's pranayama breathing. Yeah.
Prana, working with the prana, yes. Pranayama, yeah, I'm into the prana lifestyle, yes.
Yeah. What that leads to is working with the pranayama, yeah, because the breath, spiritus in Latin means breath, to breathe. So spirit is connected to breath, to breathing. It's connected to your straight breathing. So when you're breathing in, it's called the cosmic breath. In through the nose, let the solar, lunar, masculine and feminine. You're breathing that sexual energy straight up. So when I do it, it's like, but holding it here, the diaphragm. And then what I'm doing then is where your gonads are, etc. You're pulling it up with your intention. You're pulling it up, pulling that up, lifting that up. And then when you breathe out finally, you will feel it here in your solar plexus. You can feel it there.
I'm familiar with this. I'm familiar with this deep breathing, yes, meditative breath and pranayama, yes.
Yeah, you know that, and you can feel it, and you feel that euphoric feeling come into you.
Yes.
That's it. That's what needs to be worked on. Everybody can do it.
Daily practice?
Daily practice. At the moment now, I'm doing it, the daily practice. At the moment now, because I've been doing it for such a long time, I'm able to kind of do it at will, in a way, pretty much. And in the end, what I'm speaking about, it leads to you leaving your body. There's a lot at the moment with the new age stuff, and people, they put out there now at the minute that, a lot, you take shrooms, LSD, blah, 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 blah. You don't need to do none of that. You just need to live in the right fashion. We're doing it now, like we're saying, unfooding, not eating food. I've seen some of your posts, amazing. Unfooding, not eating food, becoming lighter, becoming less dense. All of these things enable us to do it. We couldn't do it before. If you're on this sad diet, it's not going to really happen for you. But if you put your body, because there's an esoteric diet as well, which is basically the way we eat now, eating really, really sort of light foods that contain prana, ether, photosynthesis. They come in again directly from the sun.
Okay, so just back up a little bit there. The most highest vibration foods obviously are
fruits, live foods. Fruits.
So live food, raw food, and fasting. Big key elements of the spiritual process, the enlightening process, the detoxification process. It's all part of raising your spiritual energy, raising your sexual energy, raising your pranic energy, coming into the pranic lifestyle. This is all synonymous with becoming healthy, becoming the best version of yourself, coming into your best, most strongest, most powerful space.
That's right. Bang on. But there are no limits to it. That people have a scarcity-based mindset deliberately. The scarcity-based mindset leads to fear. And then because of fear, what that does is it puts us into, we've got 3 stages of the brain. It puts us into the lowest form of the brain, which is the reptilian brain. So where we're based on survival. I'm going to be posting that as well. So people are stuck in a state of, I just need to survive. I just need to survive. So they're eating to survive. They're not eating to thrive, So the urine therapy, I did this age during that I'm doing, right? This stuff is the key because it's your blood, right? It's your own blood. So it's another alchemical process, and it is a ritual. So I have a ritual with this, and the ritual with it is because when my Kundalini activated, it changes everything for you. You don't change yourself; it changes you. And that's what happened to me. And that's what happened. So it decided that in the morning, as soon as I wake up, you're gonna meditate, deep breathe. This is before I started with the urine therapy so many years ago. You're gonna deep breathe, you're gonna eat fruits, you're gonna eat live foods. But I was already out of this scarcity-based mindset. I was already into unlimited. What can I achieve? I think I can advance. I think I can. There's other areas. I think I can achieve more. I think I can go further. Yeah. But then urine therapy helps to unlock the mind as well in that way. Because why? Because it's abundant.
Because it's abundant, it allows your mind to be unlocked.
Yeah, because what it is, you're actually physically seeing a form of abundance now. Whereas all of your life, I was saying to someone yesterday, as you know, when we were growing up, you're very fortunate if you've managed to grow up in a situation where you weren't in the system, being basically put under a form of mind control. If you look at something like, that's how you had to use a cult in everything. So if you look at these fast food chains, they use like red and yellow, etc. There's a lot of red. These are connected to your lower chakras, your root chakra, your solar plexus, connected to your sex chakras. Those lowest chakras are the survival, the lower form, so more towards your animal carnal side. So that's what's actually happening. So then when they show you this on television as a child, they show you these colours and they show you this guy and he's like a clown, etc. They are talking to your subconscious mind and pulling you in. Then what happens is, as a child, you want to eat this stuff. Oh, I want it. And then you get parents who will then say, because they're in a scarcity-based mindset, everything's based on money, they'll say to you, well, no, you can't have it. So what they're doing is introducing lack into your life, and they're introducing a scarcity-based mindset into you from a very, very young age. That's just one scenario of that scarcity-based mindset. That puts you in a state of fear. So everything cramps up and closes down. Then you're not open to expanding and taking in new information. You're basically going to just do as you're told, and you're going to become a good slave, pretty much. Urine therapy, if you drink something that's lifting you up, that's taking away your depression, etc., and you don't have to pay for it. You can get it on tap all the time. It's giving you some power back.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right. Okay. So, you know what? A lot of people aren't able to go to that space where they recognize that urine is a good thing. Urine is
Yeah.
medicine. Urine is medicine. Urine
Yeah.
will heal you. Urine can heal you of all things.
Yeah.
But speak to the people that that aren't able to make this leap in consciousness.
Yeah. So those people there, I do think about these people quite a lot actually, and those people there, I always say to them that it's about just initially just starting to just look at something new rather than just sticking to this. Because if you want to see, first of all, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink. This is something over and over again for me. I've had it with people, relationships, etc., where I've tried to get people to elevate themselves before they want to do it themselves. So they have to also look to do it. But if there are people out there that want to achieve more, but they don't want to necessarily do urine therapy, start to look at yourself differently. Start to look at yourself as something, as like a machine, which is what you are. Start to look at it in that way. Start to see yourself as whatever you consume is what you will become. So you don't have to just look at doing urine therapy. You can look at live foods. Yeah, anything like that. Yeah, I started out with lemon and water. You know, I started out with doing my breakfast. That's something I call breakfast with organic lemons and water. And I just realized to myself, hang on a minute, that if I put the best sauce that I can find in as soon as I wake up, surely then that's gonna have a positive effect on me, positive impact. So would say to people, just start to not think in the way that you normally think. You know, you're going to be probably, if you're doing something wrong, it's probably because you're just going to be eating that usual diet. 99.9%. If anybody's watching this and they're wanting to make a change for themselves for the better, because they can feel subconsciously that if they're not healthy, you are feeling down and depressed. So look to start trying to eat things that make you feel better. So look at your body as a machine that requires fueling, you know, with something with something that's good. You know, that's a good start.
Okay, so I always like to encourage people to start with fasting 14 to 16 hours a day. Definitely trying to get into the first meal of the day being fruits. I like that lemon water. I like to recommend distilled water rather than fluoridated water. Stay away from the fluoridated water, stay away from the chlorinated water, stay away from the chemical water. We want to get to the natural distilled water. Put some lemon in there so we can activate some more alkalinity, if you like, or the acid and astringent of the lemon to help break up any mucoid plaque in the body and get the lymphatic system moving again. So we're raising the energy of the body that way. So fruits for breakfast, fruits for lunch if you can. If you've got to eat a cooked food meal, have it for dinner. I tell people, if you can go vegetables and fruit for dinner, or just vegetables for dinner, or salads and vegetables, wonderful, awesome. So going to a raw food diet is a big start in trying to raise up your energy, but you're going to raise up your awareness and raise up your psychological thoughts and get you to a space that you can make a jump to a different space psychologically. Because that's
definitely
different thoughts, right?
Just to expand on that just a little bit, I didn't know you said in there necessarily. That if we're talking about protocols that I tell people to do, to sort of initially to lift themselves up, I always say to people to look at the breakfast, which is what I just skated on then. And it is the case that your body, because when you're sleeping, you're in this, it's a fasted state, but it's a fasted state where you're not using up any energy at all. And you're actually it's more acidic when you're sleeping. So when you're going to wake up, the body is a computer. It's like a computer, and it's a technological piece of tech. It's asking you for the best information that you can download to it instantly from that second. And we know that mind is all. So we know that if we get you to, most people, everything has been inverted. We're living in a copy of the original. So what they're going to be doing is we've been brought up to drink milk, all these different bits and pieces that are acidic. So just that one thing, the breakfast, if you break your fast with that the lemon and water itself is alkalizing straight away. then I encourage people, a bit similar to what you're doing. Again, I encourage people to go with the smoothie, juicing, etc. Organic fruits. Get them blended up, yeah? Stay on them all day. Stay on them all day.
Fruit smoothies, wonderful. I love that recommendation.
Great. It pulls you away from the cooked food in the end.
And even chewing food, like just juices, less digestion, it's going to be even better, right?
Exactly. Perfect. You know, and
so some fast time, 14, 16 hours, I tell people minimum. Yeah. Minimum fast time. And then getting into fruits or fruit smoothies as to break that fast, or alkaline water with lemon water and distilled water. Now, even before that, you put that lemon water in, though. I like you said it earlier, is you said get up and get the deep breath work, get the meditation, get the pranayama, get the breathing done first. If you can even do your meditation, your pranayama, do some exercise, some yoga or some exercise, and then come and break your fast with the lemon water or the smoothies or the fruits, the high energy foods, the raw foods, feeding your body raw foods all day. And then if you're a beginner and you must eat a cooked meal, have it for your later afternoon or evening dinner if you must eat something alive, unalive.
Definitely, because the thing with it is, it's the oxygen. Yeah, so you got to get that. Once you start flooding the body with oxygen, your brain needs it, everything needs it. I mean, I think your brain needs 20% of the amount of total oxygen input that you put into it. And then what it does, the oxygen, it's like with the aged urine, it's like a heat you feel with the high alkalinity. You will get this with the fasting as well, where you can feel it's like a euphoric burning, and it's the oxygen burning all the toxins out of you totally. It's just totally just taking them straight away, you know. And it's you know.
Okay, so let's talk about that aged urine. We got to talk about this taboo. The urine, when it's fresh, it doesn't have as much oxygen in it. Is that the case?
That's right. Yeah, the urine when it's fresh is not the same thing at all. What happens with the aged urine with this? It undergoes a transformation, a transmutation, like the transmutation of sexual energy, just like the human avatar, because you start off in your lowest state, and I'm not saying there's something wrong with fresh here, but you start off in your lowest state and then you transmute into an enlightened, illuminated being that is faster, quicker, sharper, much more loving than the lower self was, and it's also an immortal being. That's where it leads you to. And it leads you to becoming master and sovereign of your own reality. I can stand here now and say to people, after 10 years, whatever it is, that I'm now able to manifest my own abundance. This is what it does. This is where it leads to. Yeah.
Okay, so people need to first start off with drinking fresh urine.
Yes.
But as you get over the psychological barriers of fresh urine, that is healing, that is beneficial. But if you can move beyond that to actually catching your urine and sitting it down for 2 weeks minimum, 2 months.
1 month, I say.
1 month, 2 months, 9 months.
Yeah, even.
For the aged urine, I hear, to become fully matured, that's even the best. But this urine now gets oxygenated and transmutes and is even more powerful and more healing. And if you're taking that, your aged urine, and you're using it for obviously drinking, enema.
Yeah.
Rub it, massage on your body.
Tipping's good. Even tipping is a part of my breakfast, the tipping, and that, it will take your breath straight away, because the levels of alkalinity that we're speaking about here, you can't get it. I mean, ammonia is 11. You can't just drink that. Bicarbonate soda is 8 to 8.5. Seawater is 8 to 8.5. Bicarbonate soda, there's a doctor out there, cures, helps people drastically who are suffering with cancer, helps them drastically. They have fantastic results from it, ridiculous results, because cancer is a byproduct of not having enough oxygen. It only manifests because you haven't got the oxygen. So
Okay,
this,
hold on a second there. But cancer is linked to acidity and
yes,
oxygen, right?
exactly.
Two
Those
things.
two things. So if you go back to your abundance-based mindset again, you will feel, people think, all right, so it does that. It doesn't just do that. If you're connecting dots and your mind is operating at a high level of consciousness now, and you're in an abundant state mindset, you can connect the dot and say to yourself, well, hang on a minute. If it's doing that, if it can do that, then what else can it do? If it can do that, if it can nullify all illness, etc., then what else can it do for my vehicle? What else can it do for the human avatar? And what it will do for you, the oxygen that you put in, and it's not just oxygen. I did something very recently for somebody which saved their life. Actually, they were dying with pneumonia in the hospital. We'll talk about that anyway, pneumonia. But what it's doing, yeah, is it's flooding the body with oxygen. What the body is doing, and this is developed from my own personal gnosis, my own knowledge of self, from what I experienced with this, it has changed everything for me. Right? I don't need to sleep. I don't have to sleep. At the moment, I've just had another sip of that, so I'm sharp now. I'm over the moon. Right? What it does?
Is that what you refer to as tipping? Is that what you're saying? Drinking, tipping?
No. The tipping is a different. The tipping is literally, I'll take half a glass of aged urine after I've drunk it and sniffed it, because I'll drink it, then I'll sniff it. At the moment, I'm drinking about 300 ml. I mean, this is my smoothie in a minute. So I'm drinking that much, about 300 ml, which is probably, it's about a good half a glass. But it's a specific type of aged urine. You mentioned the old 9 months aged urine. I don't recommend drinking the darker stuff. It's the lighter, clear. That is what's containing the magnetic light. It is giving you a high that you would not believe. There is nothing else like it, because what's happening is it's unlocking. The more oxygen you feed to the body, it starts to unlock other levels. It starts to say, okay, great, give me more. Right, we can unlock this now. The heart starts to sing. The heart starts to sing because everything's working perfectly. So when the heart's singing and we do that deep breathing, we can feel an abundant state of blissful energy like no other. We require no money. Our happiness is coming from within us. It's an abundant state of being. A lot of gurus say, oh, you shouldn't get worried by the external. Yeah, but that's only if you've done the internal works first. This here, the aged urine, is the key to doing that. It's also the key. This is why I call it the blood of the Christ. It is also the key to activating the Kundalini and bursting it through all of the chakras and having it burst out of your crown and activate the dormant brain cells in your mind, which is what's going to illuminate you and turn you into a genius, etc. That's going to enable you then to be the governor, and you're able to, through inner sovereignty, manifest your own reality that's happening in front of you, as well as, realize your own immortality and do the works that way. So the aged urine itself, because there's something called a sacred secretion again, which a lot of these esoteric occult practices, if you go deep into it, you will find that alkalinity is connected to God. Alkalinity is connected to the sun. Yeah, Saturn is connected. This is in alchemy, because the gold is the sun is gold, which is Au, which is gold again, which is your aura. Yeah, it's all connected. Yeah, and then Saturn is connected to acidity. Saturn is then connected to lead. Lead is very solid, more acid-based structure. So everything is actually all connected. So alkalinity itself is connected to the sun. What does the sun do? It provides photosynthesis to alkaline plants to help them grow. Yeah, it provides to us. It helps the conscious sun, the white sun. There's two suns, white sun and black sun. The conscious sun helps our bones to grow. What's in our bones? Calcium. If our alkalinity is not right within our blood, then what happens is the body, if we eat too much acidic food, the body will start withdrawing calcium deposits from our bones from elsewhere. This is like people get osteoporosis, etc., because it's having to draw sources to rebalance the pH.
Agreed. So sunlight, a big recommendation for you?
So sunlight's a massive recommendation.
Sunlight is a massive recommendation. Agreed. And I think you mentioned grounding as well too.
Yeah, I just said that as well. Perfect. And grounding, because you're an electric being. You're an electromagnetic being. This is an electromagnetic realm. It works. It's got a north and south pole magnetism. That's what it is. And there's a plane of inertia in the center. If you put two magnets together, there's a force in the middle. This is what they're not telling us. And they won't tell us this because otherwise we get free energy. If you put two magnets together in the center, you get a ridiculous amount of energy. And that creates a plane of inertia, which is the level playing field that we're on now. If we understand that we're fragments of Sophia, which is the earth, we're fragments of God, source, divinity, then we are the same in quality but not quantity. So within us, we also have two toroidal fields that go boom, boom, boom. Everything that's electric has a magnetic field. So when we loop the urine, when we loop this urine, just the fresh urine itself, it's giving us an electric charge because we're following. If you look at a magnet, you can put shards around it, etc., and you can see how a magnetic field works. And it works like this. There are two fields that verge together. What are those fields? Left and right, masculine and feminine. Left brain and right brain, sun and moon.
Positive and negative, just like electricity, currents moving, the sun and the earth as in positive and negative, yin and yang, duality again in our world. I love it. I love it. I love the things that you're talking about. Something that you brought up there, and I've lost it now. Oh, shoot.
What was it?
Oh, man. Continue. Sorry.
Duality. So then with duality, then what happens is when we raise up, you see, what happens is we raise up towards the heart, and then we find an organic singularity.
Sorry, I got it.
No worries.
You talked about fresh urine setting up an energetic pathway within the body, and you talked about the aged urine transmuted more healing, more elevating you even beyond to do the final healing. So are you suggesting that both urines are necessary during your day?
Yes. What I'm saying is the aged urine is the igniter of the flame. The fresh urine is the sustainer of the flame.
So you need both.
You need both. You don't discard your fresh urine because your fresh urine is complementing your aged urine. Your fresh urine's got about hundreds of things in it that are beneficial to the body, drastically, ridiculously. You're still drinking of, it tells you in the Bible, drink of thine own cistern. You're drinking of yourself. You're drinking of yourself. That looping, or what it's doing is that electrical charge that you ignited with the aged urine. The aged urine is the key. The aged urine is the key to illumination. But is one of the keys to illumination, one of the main hidden keys, and that's why there's so little knowledge on it. But the fresh urine, when you loop, you got the fields, boom, boom, boom. You're following it. You're following that loop through because the energy is coming downwards and then coming back out again. Yeah, but you're following that current through, all the way through. So what you're doing is you're reigniting that electrical charge. So at 5 o'clock, for me, I get a massive burst of euphoric, ecstatic, blissful feeling that just takes over me. Sometimes it makes me cry. Last week it made me cry. I've done a lot with a lot of this spiritual work as well. I say to people, it's not a lot of things I'm speaking about now. I'm talking about the good side. I always have to remember to talk about the negative side. It will bring up everything out of your shadow. That's what will happen if you do these deep spiritual practices, deep meditation. You won't just wake up and it's fantastic. You'll do a lot of crying. It will bring everything up. All the trauma and the shadow self. Your shadow self is, you have to embrace your shadow self with yourself, which is the part where you've got all the monsters under the bed. That's where you hide all the things that happened in your childhood, in your life.
Awesome. Yep. Yep. You got to get comfortable and accept that part of you, that darker side of you as well too.
Yeah.
So what when you're saying quantities, I mean, like looping the urine. So like looping your urine all day, would you say like most of your ingestion of fluids should be fresh urine?
Yes. At the moment, most of my ingestion of fluids is fresh urine and fruit. So I don't eat any real cooked food really. Ever? Yes, I do. If I'm tired, if I want to go to sleep, then I will eat it. Yeah.
On the weekend, I eat it. On the weekend, I eat it with my family. But but during the week, I don't eat it.
Yeah, that's when I might. At the moment, I might eat two amounts of cooked food in a week. At the minute, cooked food is the total opposite to what we are when we elevate. What cooked food wants to do is acidity, Saturn again. It wants to bring you back down towards death. Yeah, and that's where it will. I've said it before. I shared it. It will kick you out of the garden. It will kick you out of the paradise garden of bliss if you eat cooked food.
Okay, so hang on a second there. Cooked food once or twice a week, you're saying?
It's fine.
Right. But meat
is no good.
Don't even touch it. Meat and dairy, don't even touch it.
No, it takes too long to get it back out of the system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to slow you down, man.
Okay, so maybe some cooked rice, maybe some potato, maybe some quinoa, maybe some grain, maybe some bread, maybe some cereal, or maybe something like that. But meat and dairy,
You cannot get in. One of the reasons we got kicked. Yeah, one of the reasons we got kicked out of the garden is because of that. One of the reasons is the Black Tantra. Yeah, and the other reason is because we expelled vital life force. Because I think it's either the Hyperboreans. Actually, the Hyperboreans, and the Lemurians. One of the two of those. The third eye was out and visible. Yeah, and when they split, and they were like androgynous beings. I've got some of these images as well, actually, that I could share at some point. So they're figurines from before this patriarchal system, and some of them you can see the bodies. They're masculine and feminine. Yeah, and then when we split and they started eating food, certain cooked foods, I think it makes it in Hilton Hotels as well. Then the pineal gland, when they started having intercourse, etc., started having sex, and they become more dense and took on a more physical form, and the spiritual eye that was visible sunk back into the head, because of these reasons, and then following that over time, that's when the pineal gland has become calcified. Yeah. So when they showed us to eat meat, what you're doing, but when you're eating animals, is you're kind of sticking your fingers up to your own divinity again. Yeah. Because within natural law, between the laws of the universe, you shouldn't be causing any harm to any other sentient being.
That's right. So if we're killing and we're surviving by killing, we're freezing ourselves in one sort of space in our life, and we can't move forward. And we can't move forward until we elevate ourselves by moving to a higher consciousness diet.
Yeah, because there's laws in nature that we can't see. You see.
Yes.
And the law of cause and effect is a massive law. So what happens is when we eat that, that's it. When we eat that meat, the very second that we do that, that law comes into play because you ate the meat.
Okay. You know what? We're getting close to the end of our time. Obviously, I could sit and talk with you for another hour easily. But I really want to bring it back to a couple of other things that came up today, that are a little bit unique and stuff that I haven't brought into my program as of yet. And I'm glad that you've introduced them because I know they're important. So the sexual energy. We've got to learn how to raise that sexual energy. We've got to learn how to raise that sexual energy. It's got to be a conscious lifting.
Yeah,
it's a conscious lifting of your energy.
Yeah, because of the psychological effects as well. Otherwise,
we've got to learn how to do that with our partners. So both of us are on that sort of wavelength together. So we're both elevating ourselves consciously. We got to get the meat out. We got to get the dairy out. We got to get the fasting in. We got to get over the urine fear.
Yeah.
The poor information about urine, it's all bogus. Urine is a massive healer, and we got to learn and understand that. We got to get over this limited view that we have. The aged urine is more powerful and more healing. You mentioned bicarbonate of soda. I want to introduce that into my program. You talked about the Tantra. That I gotta introduce in my program. Maybe we gotta get together again. We gotta talk. We gotta get together again in another couple of weeks.
Yeah, introduce it to people. Molecular hydrogen. Those that can't do age during, molecular hydrogen is another highly potent alkaline substance. What it does, as soon as it goes into the bloodstream, it sets the blood is stagnant. I've showed this before through blood microscopies. People have seen it. It's with sugar in your blood, etc. The blood becomes stagnant. It sticks together. What this does, it instantly oxygenates the blood. The hydrogen does, and what it does, it's a selective selective super antioxidant. So it searches for free radicals in your blood and it turns them into water. Literally, it is very powerful. Kangen water machines are £2,000 to buy. This is a much cheaper option. Still quite dear, but it's a much cheaper option.
If you can't do aged urine, go grab yourself some molecular hydrogen. So I can add that for people that aren't ready to touch the plasma ultrafiltrate yet. Go with the molecular hydrogen. Awesome. I like that. One more thing I wanted to touch on here, because you mentioned it and I wasn't sure about it. Can you just finish off by explaining a little bit about the matriarchal system versus the patriarchal system? And 6,000 years ago, one of these, we switched from one to the other. Can you just touch on that one more thing before we close off today? And we're going to get back together again to clarify some other massive information that you shared today. Really incredible information, sir.
Yeah, we've got a hell of a lot more to go. Yeah, so the patriarchal system that we live in today, there's actually various entities that symbolize this. One of them is Pan, which is like a goat god. You would have seen it before. It's actually a moon of Saturn. Saturn has a moon called Pan, which is what. And the entity is a lustful, egoic entity. So what happens is phallic worship is when people, before we have this 6,000 year cycle, I was saying to you that it's a matriarchal system. So the people that rule this place, what they do is they're unbalanced. What they're doing. So of course someone called him. What they're doing because of imbalance is they're going with the left brain, the masculine. Yeah, it's just critical thinking.
Okay, so you talked about this too. You said about 6,000 years ago the Illuminati started. So 6,000 years ago, you're saying we had a matriarchal system. We had the correct system that we needed, which was with the subconscious mind, which was divine feminine, and then they did a conscious switch to try to push us into the left brain, to try to separate us from our true power and our true ability to rise up.
That's right.
So 6,000 years ago, there was a conscious switch that was made, and we switched to a patriarchal system.
Yeah,
we're going to have to talk about this some more. We're going to have to talk about this some more. I'm going to have to bring it back. We're going to have to break this up into little bits, and we're probably going to have to go a heck of a lot further. You've got a ton of information, sir. I got to go pick up my son from school. My schedule's changed drastically for today. Thank you for your time. I'm really grateful for the time, and I'm lifted. I'm lifted by your information and the knowledge that you're spitting, sir. Thank you so much. I'm going to get back in touch with you. I'm going to reach out to you again. We'll see you again, Fabian.
Speak to you soon, John.
Thanks, buddy.
You guys, love you guys. Brilliant.
All right, man.